Chosen one, if you've stumbled upon this message, I want you to know it's no accident. Something deep inside you has guided you here, something beyond mere coincidence. It's a pull, a tug on your spirit, urging you to pay attention. There is a divine calling on your life, a destiny with your name on it, and if you ignore it, you risk missing out on the future you were born to live. This calling is bigger than your fears, bigger than any obstacle, and bigger than any self-doubt that's been holding you hostage. Right now, you have a choice. Listen and act, or turn away and stay the same. But let me warn you, ignoring this calling means turning your back on the massive shift that's ready to unfold in your life. Before we dive in, I need you to do one thing for me. Pause this video, hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a comment with the number 777. By typing 777, you're sending a bold signal to yourself and the universe that you're ready to stop running, ready to stand up and be counted among those who embrace their divine purpose. Some people might click away right now, unsure or skeptical. But if you feel an electricity in your spirit, stay until the very end. Because your future truly does depend on what you choose to do with this calling. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt there was a bigger plan for you? Maybe as a child you looked at the stars and sensed that your life was not meant to be ordinary. Or perhaps you've always had a nagging feeling that you were capable of more, that you possessed some hidden spark waiting to catch flame. That feeling isn't just your imagination. It's the echo of your destiny calling out to you across time and space, asking if you're finally ready to say yes. And here's the beautiful truth. The moment you decide to embrace that calling, entire pathways start to open. Doors unlock, opportunities line up, but if you ignore it, well, that's a path you don't want to walk. Because ignoring your calling doesn't just mean missing a blessing. It means forfeiting the unique contribution you were designed to give this world. You see, this isn't just about you. Yes, it's your life, your choices, your dreams. But when you're called, it affects everyone around you. Your family, your friends, even people you haven't met yet. Imagine the ripple effect when you step into your true purpose. The joy, the inspiration, the breakthroughs you create don't just bless your life, they touch countless others. Conversely, if you stay hidden, if you let fear dictate your choices, it's not just you who loses, it's all those who needed what only you could provide. That's how high the stakes are. This is why I'm telling you, chosen one, do not ignore this. It is no small invitation, it's a life-altering commission straight from the realms of the divine. Maybe you're asking yourself, but how do I know this calling is real? Let me tell you, when a calling is real, it resonates in your bones. It doesn't always make logical sense, but it pulls at your heart. When you're alone, you can't escape the thought of it. Situations keep arising that point you in the same direction. People cross your path who speak words that confirm what's been stirring in you. It's like the universe is orchestrating a cosmic symphony just to get your attention. And every time you try to ignore it, that longing grows stronger, that restlessness more intense. This is the moment where you decide if you'll keep plugging your ears or finally turn to face the music of your soul. There is a reason you are alive in this exact moment in history. Look at how the world is shifting. Economically, socially, environmentally, people everywhere sense that the old ways of doing things are crumbling and they're searching for new voices, new leadership, new hope. That's where you come in. The world needs your gifts, your ideas, your unique spark of genius. If you hold back, if you say not now, you deny not just yourself but everyone who could be uplifted by your obedience to this divine nudge. Because I promise you, the role you play is not trivial. You might not see it fully yet, but what you bring to the table can alter the trajectory of many lives. Chosen one, let me speak directly to that fear you might be feeling right now. Fear of failure, fear of success, fear of the unknown. They all love to rear their heads the moment you stand on the threshold of change. But fear has no power except what you give it. Yes, stepping into a calling means facing uncertainty. Yes, you might stumble, you might face criticism, you might lose the approval of certain people in your life who only liked you when you were playing small. But what's the alternative? To remain stuck? To stay comfortable but unfulfilled? To look back one day and realize you never truly lived because you never took the risk? That's not why you're here. You are not here to die with your music still inside you. You are here to let it ring, loud and clear for all to hear. The calling doesn't always look like a beam of light from the sky. Sometimes it's a subtle whisper, a nagging sense of, I should be doing something else, or an idea you can't shake. Other times it's a passion that keeps surfacing no matter how many times you try to ignore it. It might even be a painful situation that jolts you awake, forcing you to reevaluate everything. However it shows up, it's that inner knowing that you're made for more. And let me tell you, you are. The only question is whether you'll believe it enough to take a step of faith. If this resonates, if your heart is pounding, then comment 777 to seal that affirmation. You might think typing a number is a small act, but it's symbolic. It's like planting a flag, declaring that from this moment forward, you won't be silent anymore. You won't shrink back in the face of uncertainty. Instead, you'll walk forward even with trembling knees, because you sense the promise that lies on the other side of obedience. Trust me, once you say yes, you'll look back on this day as the turning point that set everything into motion. Chosen one, your entire future depends on this. That's not hyperbole. Time and time again, people who ignored their calling ended up in regret, bitterness, or a perpetual state of what if. They chase empty goals, climb ladders leaning against the wrong walls, and wonder why they still feel incomplete. You don't have to live that way. You can choose a path that resonates with every fiber of your being, the path that aligns you with a force greater than yourself, ensuring you never walk alone, never run out of inspiration, and never waste your life on petty pursuits. Yes, it takes courage, but you were born with that courage inside you. It might be buried under layers of doubt, but it's there, and now is the time to unearth it. Let me share something that might shift your perspective. Not answering the call doesn't mean the call disappears. It remains, waiting, yearning for you to respond. But the more you push it aside, the more you risk your heart becoming numb. That's why some people live life with a dull ache in their soul, an ache they can't quite explain. It's the pain of ignoring what they were created to do. Don't let that become your story. Don't let your dreams wither in the darkness of neglect. You have the power to keep that fire burning, to feed it with faith and action until it lights up your entire world. I know some of you might be thinking, I'm too old, I've missed my moment, or I'm too young, no one will take me seriously, or I've messed up too badly. But when you're chosen, all of that becomes irrelevant. Divine purpose doesn't care about your age, your past mistakes, or your social status. In fact, it often picks the least likely candidates to prove that it's not about human qualification. It's about willingness. If you're willing to say yes, if you're willing to learn and grow, then you can be used in ways that will blow your mind. You'll find yourself doing things you never thought possible, impacting people you never expected to reach. The call you feel may be specific. Start that business, write that book, raise that family with intention, create that non-profit. Or it might be more general. Live a life of love and service, spread hope in your corner of the world, speak truth where others remain silent. Whatever shape it takes, it's real, it's potent, and it's calling your name. And if you're still breathing, it's not too late to respond. Every day is a fresh invitation to align with your destiny. Every sunrise is another chance to say, you might wonder, but how do I begin? Start with a simple step. Maybe it's researching a topic that stirs your heart. Maybe it's reaching out to a mentor. Maybe it's carving out time to practice your craft or develop your idea. The key is to do something. Action is the language of faith. If you believe you're called, show it with your choices, your schedule, your investments of time and energy. Don't wait for perfect conditions. They rarely come. The door is open and you walk through by moving your feet, one step at a time. As you move forward, expect challenges. Yes, challenges will come. No calling worth fulfilling is without obstacles. Sometimes adversity even confirms you're on the right track because it triggers resistance in the spirit realm. Don't let that scare you. Instead, let it excite you because it means you're stepping into territory that matters. The darkest attacks often come just before the biggest breakthroughs. Keep your eyes fixed on the vision ahead and push through. You're not alone. The entire universe rallies around a soul committed to their purpose. Chosen one, remember why you started. When the road gets tough, when you feel like giving up, recall that sense of destiny that first sparked your heart. Recall the words that resonated with you, the images of a life bigger and more meaningful than you dared to imagine. That spark is real, and it's waiting to become a roaring fire if you keep feeding it. The path of purpose is not for the faint of heart, but the rewards are immeasurable. A life where every morning you wake up with a sense of direction. Every night you rest knowing you spent your day in alignment with something sacred. People might question you or even mock you. They might say you're naive or unrealistic, but visionaries are often misunderstood, at least until they succeed. Then everyone wonders how you did it. You did it by obeying the call that no one else could hear. By persisting when others would have quit, by believing in something intangible until it became tangible. That's the hallmark of a chosen one, unwavering faith in the face of adversity, fueled by the knowledge that your entire future depends on pressing forward. If at any point you feel discouraged, look for signs of confirmation. They're everywhere if you have eyes to see. Random encounters, timely messages, inner peace that descends even in chaos. Gratitude will be your ally in those moments. Give thanks for small victories, for lessons learned in failure, for the very breath in your lungs. Gratitude keeps your heart open and receptive, ensures you don't lose sight of the blessings that surround you. When you approach life with that spirit of thankfulness, you remain aligned with the frequency of miracles, allowing more of them to flow. Comment 777 if you haven't yet. Let that be your outward sign of inward commitment. There is power in taking a public stand, even in something as simple as a typed number. It's an action that cements your choice to align with this calling. And as you type it, imagine the chains of hesitation breaking. Imagine the doors of destiny swinging open. That is the energy you're inviting, the momentum you're creating. I get it, though. Sometimes we hear a message and we're inspired for a moment, but then life happens. Responsibilities pile up, distractions abound, negativity tries to creep in. So I encourage you to re-listen, to keep your mind refreshed with words that call you higher. Nourish yourself daily. Read books, listen to uplifting content, surround yourself with people who believe in you. This calling is not a one-time event, it's a journey, and you'll need sustenance for the road. Perhaps the toughest part of saying yes to a calling is realizing you might outgrow certain relationships or environments. Some people liked you better when you played small. They might feel threatened or jealous when you start chasing a purpose that makes them question their own. Love them anyway, but don't let them anchor you to a life of half measures. You can still care for people without forfeiting your mission. The right ones will celebrate you, will walk alongside you, will cheer as you ascend. Those are the people you keep close. And let me tell you something incredible. Once you embrace this calling, you'll discover that everything you've been through, even the pain and disappointments, can be redeemed for a greater good. Every scar, every tear, every time you thought you failed, it all can serve a purpose in your new path. That's how the divine works, weaving all the broken pieces into a mosaic that tells a story of transformation and hope. You're not disqualified by your past, you're qualified by it. Your wounds become your credentials to empathize, to lead, to inspire others who feel lost. Never underestimate the impact of one life fully lived. We sometimes think we're insignificant, just another face in the crowd. But the moment you decide to heed your calling, you step into the role you were always meant to play. People you've never met might be praying for the solution you carry. Isn't that wild to consider? Yet it's true, we're all interconnected, and your alignment with your destiny has a ripple effect across the tapestry of humanity. That's why ignoring your calling is not just a personal choice, it has cosmic implications. Chosen one, it's time to break the cycle of excuses. If you've been telling yourself you'll do it one day, or when you're ready, that day might never come unless you decide that day is now. The perfect moment doesn't exist. Conditions might never be ideal, but the power is in your willingness to move forward despite imperfections. That's how great stories begin, how great inventions are born, how great leaders rise. They don't wait for the green light from the world, they give themselves permission to start. By now, I hope you feel the stirring in your soul. I hope you realize that ignoring this calling is not an option if you want to live a life free of regret. And more than that, I hope you see that the path, while challenging, is laced with joy, discovery, and a sense of purpose that outweighs any hardship. When you're walking in your calling, you tap into a wellspring of motivation that never runs dry, because you're no longer forcing your spirit into a mold that doesn't fit. Instead, you're flowing with the design that was tailor-made for you. Fear and insecurity may still whisper, "Who do you think you are to aim so high?" But the real question is, who do you think you are not to? If you've been chosen, then you have every right, even an obligation, to step into that identity. Playing small doesn't serve the world, and it definitely doesn't serve you. Let your humility show in your compassion, your willingness to learn, not in denying the greatness you carry. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence. Arrogance is self-focused, but confidence in your calling is acknowledging the higher power that's backing you up. One day, you'll look back at this moment. You'll remember the words that ignited your heart, the stirring that wouldn't let you go back to who you used to be. And if you choose to respond, if you choose to chase the calling, you'll smile knowing it was all worth it. You'll see how every tear watered the seeds of your destiny, how every heartbreak shaped your resilience, how every detour led you right into the arms of your greater purpose. That's the vantage point of someone who said yes when it mattered most. Chosen one, if there's any last bit of doubt lingering, let me speak to it directly. Doubt is normal, but it's not your final master. Your deeper truth is that you're here for a reason, and no external voice can override the internal knowing. You might stumble, yes, but stumbling doesn't mean you failed. It just means you're moving, you're learning, you're living. The only real failure is never to start. Now, I want you to take a moment and breathe. Ask yourself, what is the next step I can take today to honor this calling? It could be sending an email, writing a page, making a phone call, starting a savings fund, enrolling in a course, or praying for guidance. Whatever it is, do it. Even if it's small, it's infinitely better than standing still. You'll find that with each step, the path becomes clearer, the momentum stronger, and the confirmations even more undeniable. Don't ignore this calling, your entire future depends on it. That's not just a phrase, it's the reality of how pivotal this moment is. We only get one life on this earth, at least in this form, so why spend it tiptoeing around what's truly possible? Imagine the fulfillment of waking up every day, excited because you're doing what you love, making a difference and living authentically. That's the kind of life that awaits you when you answer the call. If you still haven't commented 777, do it now. Let it be a symbolic declaration that from this day forward, you'll no longer run or hide. Let it mark the day you said yes. And after you comment, don't just go back to life as usual. Let these words echo in your daily routine, reminding you that you are indeed chosen, that your path is sacred, that your gifts are needed, and that your calling will not wait forever. Seize it, protect it, nurture it. Yes, you'll face trials, but you'll also experience triumphs that leave you breathless with gratitude. You'll find resources and help in unlikely places, because that's how the universe rewards obedience to divine purpose. Doors will open, and you'll wonder why you ever doubted in the first place. And then you'll see how every challenge was actually training, every delay was perfect timing, and every setback was a setup for a grand comeback. Chosen one, hear me loud and clear. You have what it takes. It's already inside you, waiting for you to tap into it. The calling is real, and it's calling you higher, deeper, further than you've gone before. If you're looking for a sign, this is it. If you're waiting for permission, you have it. If you're craving clarity, start walking, and clarity will meet you along the way. This is the turning point. This is where you decide that mediocrity is no longer acceptable, that complacency no longer suits you. You are bigger than your mistakes, stronger than your fears, and more influential than you realize. Embrace that. Let it fuel you. Let it guide your choices. Surround yourself with people, resources, and environments that support your growth. Distance yourself from negativity and naysayers who want you to remain stuck. You don't owe them your destiny. I want you to remember something crucial. You are loved beyond measure, and part of that love is expressed through the calling placed on your life. It's an invitation to co-create with the divine, to shape a future that reflects your highest self. Think of it as a partnership. You bring your faith, your willingness, your effort, and the divine supplies the favor, the open doors, the impossible made possible. It's a synergy that defies logic, a dance between heaven and earth, and you're invited to step onto that dance floor. Don't let the voices of unworthiness talk you out of it. Don't let the pain of past disappointments paralyze you. Your worth is intrinsic, it's not up for debate. Your calling is not cancelled by past mistakes. It's often illuminated by them. Even your weaknesses can become the very channels through which grace shines the brightest. That's the beauty of being human and divine at the same time. So, chosen one, as you continue forward, do so with boldness. Keep your head high, your heart open, and your spirit receptive. Opportunities may come disguised as challenges. Breakthroughs may look like breakdowns at first glance, but you'll have the vision to see beyond the surface. You'll realize that everything is happening for you, not to you, shaping you into the vessel that can carry the weight of your destiny. If you haven't already felt it, soon you'll notice synchronicities popping up, random conversations that confirm your dreams, sudden bursts of energy when you thought you were too tired, resources arriving just in time to fund your next step. These aren't coincidences. They're winks from the universe, gentle nods that say, yes, keep going, you're aligned. Pay attention to them, let them fuel your faith. With every breath, you move closer to the day you fully manifest what's inside you. The journey is ongoing, never truly ending, because callings often expand as you grow, but that's the adventure. You'll look back on the early days of your obedience with a smile, remembering how uncertain you felt, how you questioned if you had enough courage, and how the answer was always yes. Yes, you did, because you were chosen for this path. Chosen one, maybe you've felt alone. like no one else around you understands this longing in your heart. That's a common experience for those called to carve a new trail, but you're not truly alone. There's a whole community of souls like you, each awakening to their unique purpose. Seek them out, encourage one another, share knowledge. That synergy creates an unstoppable force. We were never meant to do this alone. We're interconnected, each piece essential to the grand puzzle of life. As you walk this path, maintain a spirit of reverence. This calling is sacred. Treat it as such. Guard your time, your energy, your mind. Fill them with that which uplifts and elevates. Dismiss distractions that aim to derail you. Recognize that you are in a season of building, and each day is a brick laid in the foundation of something monumental. Keep going, brick by brick, prayer by prayer, action by action, and soon you'll stand atop a structure that testifies to what faith and obedience can build. You might have questions about how everything will come together. That's normal. But clarity often comes one step at a time. So don't wait for a map of the entire journey. Move with the light you have, trusting that more will be revealed as you proceed. That's how faith grows, by stepping into the unknown and finding that you're supported, guided, and empowered in ways you couldn't foresee. Now, let me circle back to that crucial statement. Don't ignore this calling. Your entire future depends on it. Let it echo in your mind. Let it remind you each time you're tempted to settle for less. Let it nudge you awake if you ever start drifting back to a life of complacency. Because ignoring a calling isn't just a missed opportunity, it's a tragedy for your soul. But answering it, that's the gateway to a future that's immeasurably rich in love, purpose, impact, and joy. So, dear chosen one, I trust you'll make the right choice. I trust you'll hold on to the vision even when storms come. I trust you'll push through the noise of self-doubt and the negativity of those who can't see what you see. Because in the end, when you align with your calling, you align with a power so grand it can move mountains. And that's what you were meant to do. Move mountains, inspire hearts, and leave this world brighter than you found it. Keep listening closely, because I'm not done yet. You see, when you embrace the calling on your life, you don't just change your own destiny, you change the destiny of everyone connected to you. That might be your children, your community, or even strangers halfway around the world who will one day be touched by what you create or the message you carry. It's a sacred chain reaction. Your obedience triggers someone else's inspiration, which triggers someone else's breakthrough, and on it goes. It's the ripple effect of purpose. This is why I say your entire future depends on it, because that future is woven into the futures of countless others. Think about the times someone's words, someone's art, or someone's invention radically shifted your life's direction. That person's calling impacted you. Now you are positioned to become that kind of influence for someone else. You're not just living for you, you're a crucial piece of a grand puzzle. Without you stepping up, that puzzle remains incomplete, a masterpiece with a missing stroke of color. I know it can feel weighty. The idea that your yes could be so pivotal might even scare you. But remember, you don't carry this burden alone. The very power that placed this calling on your heart is the power that will equip you, sustain you, and guide you through every valley and mountaintop. Fear might whisper that you're not ready, not good enough, not qualified. Don't listen to that voice. Listen to the one that says, I have chosen you for this. Listen to the one that assures you all things are possible. Listen to the one that resonates with the boldness in your spirit, even if it's been dormant for a while. You might ask, what if I fail? But let me ask you this, what if you fly? What if you discover strengths you never knew you had? What if the very thing you feared becomes the launching pad for a level of success and impact you never imagined? Failure isn't a dead end. It's a teacher. It refines, it clarifies, and it prepares you for the next leap. The only true failure is never trying. By ignoring your calling, you guarantee stagnation. By taking a leap, you open yourself to divine possibilities that surpass your wildest dreams. Some of you might need to make major changes in your life to fully embrace this calling. Maybe it's switching careers, leaving a toxic environment, or ending habits that sabotage your growth. That can be scary because human beings crave the familiar. But your calling doesn't dwell in the comfort zone. It resides just beyond the horizon, where you must step in faith. And once you do, you'll see that the comfort you feared losing was nothing compared to the fulfillment gained by walking in your true path. It's time to unlearn any lie that says you're not worthy of a magnificent future. If you've ever been made to feel less than, if people have belittled your dreams, let this moment serve as a divine reversal. You are worthy simply because you exist. The call on your life is proof that the universe sees infinite potential in you. And if that's not enough, reflect on the obstacles you've already overcome. Reflect on how you made it through storms that tried to break you. Those victories weren't random. They were training grounds, forging you into someone resilient enough to carry this calling forward. Keep your eyes open for signs and synchronicities confirming you're on the right track. They might come in the form of repeated numbers. Maybe you keep seeing 777, or perhaps a phrase that keeps popping up in conversations, on billboards, or in music lyrics. These are gentle nudges reminding you that you're not walking this road alone. They are like breadcrumbs leading you to your destiny. Pay attention, because the more you notice, the more you'll realize how intricately the threads of your life are woven. Chosen one, let this be the day you say, no more excuses. Let it be the day you decide that your calling is bigger than your comfort, bigger than your past, bigger than any negativity around you. Excuses only serve to keep you chained to mediocrity. They might feel safe, but in reality, they're just illusions that block your progress. The moment you break free from excuses, you unleash a force of momentum that can literally change everything. Imagine waking up tomorrow knowing you're aligned with something divine, something that gives you a reason to leap out of bed with passion. That's what living your calling feels like. You don't need external motivation because the fire is lit from within. The applause of others becomes secondary because you're fueled by a mission that resonates at the core of who you are. That level of alignment magnetizes resources, opportunities, and people who want to collaborate or assist. When you carry the conviction of purpose, doors swing open in the natural and spiritual realm. People will notice the difference in you. They'll see a sparkle in your eyes, a newfound confidence in your stride, a kindness and depth in your interactions. And you know what happens when you shine your light like that? You give others permission to do the same. It's contagious. Your courage sparks courage in them. That's how one person living their destiny can shift entire communities. Don't underestimate that power. Of course, with all these incredible transformations, you might face jealousy or opposition. Some folks prefer the status quo, and your evolution threatens their sense of security. They might say you've changed, and they're right, you have. Embrace it. The butterfly never apologizes for no longer crawling on the ground. Similarly, you don't owe anyone an explanation for why you're finally following the path you were meant to walk. Love them, bless them, but don't let them talk you out of your growth. Let me remind you to stay anchored in gratitude. When blessings start to flow, when synchronicities become almost everyday occurrences, keep your heart humble and thankful. Gratitude is a powerful multiplier. It enhances whatever you focus on. By focusing on the good that's unfolding, you invite even more. And gratitude also keeps you grounded, reminding you that this calling isn't about ego or personal glory. It's about serving something greater, contributing to a grand tapestry of souls awakening to their potential. If you've been waiting for a crystal clear sign, this is it. The words you're hearing right now are your confirmation that the time is now. Not next month, not next year, not when you feel more prepared. Now, because life is happening in this very moment, and your calling is urgent. Every second you delay could be a missed chance to brighten someone's world, to solve a pressing problem, to bring hope where it's been lost. You carry answers, solutions, creative expressions that are desperately needed. Let that sink in. This isn't meant to put pressure on you. It's meant to awaken you. It's meant to remind you that the Creator of all things placed gifts in you for a reason, and that reason is not to stay hidden. Those gifts are seeds, waiting for the soil of action and the sunshine of faith to sprout into something magnificent. If you keep them locked away, they'll never fulfill their purpose. But if you plant them boldly, who knows what forests will grow? And yes, expect storms, but seeds that endure storms grow stronger roots. Keep the vision of your future bright in your mind. Picture yourself fully alive, thriving in your calling, radiating joy and impact. How different is that from your current reality? Then recognize that the gap between the two can be closed by consistent choices. Choices to step forward when you'd rather step back. Choices to invest in yourself when you'd rather make excuses. The power to close that gap is in your hands. Chosen one, I want you to affirm this right now. I am stepping into my calling. I refuse to shrink back. My gifts matter. My voice matters. My future matters. Speak it out loud if you can. There's something potent about declaring your intentions to the atmosphere. Words carry energy, and when you broadcast your commitment, you align yourself with the forces that can bring it to pass. It might feel silly at first, but that's just your old limitations trying to keep you small. Push through that feeling. When you comment 777, let that be another layer of affirmation. Let it be a digital stake in the ground. Each time you see that number, recall this moment of decisiveness. Recall the power that surged through you when you realized you truly are chosen. Let it anchor you when doubt creeps back. Because doubt will try to return, but it loses its grip each time you stand firm and say, I've made my choice, and I'm not turning back. Now, some of you may wonder about the specifics of this calling. Maybe you sense it's artistic, maybe entrepreneurial, maybe humanitarian or ministerial. You might not have all the pieces yet, but clarity often unfolds step by step. The important thing is to keep moving, keep exploring, keep saying yes to the nudges of your heart. As you do, the path will become clearer. You'll see divine breadcrumbs leading you toward your unique expression of purpose. And let's talk about resources. Many people say, I can't follow my calling because I don't have enough money, time, or support. But resources often show up after you commit, not before. It's like stepping onto a bridge that's invisible until you take the first step. Suddenly, planks appear beneath your feet, carrying you forward. That's how faith works. I'm not advocating recklessness. I'm advocating bold trust. Yes, be wise. But don't let the lack of visible resources keep you from starting. The greatest resource is within you. Your ability to envision, to persist, and to adapt. Chosen one, do you feel the momentum building? This momentum isn't just emotional hype, it's the resonance of your spirit aligning with the truth. It's your inner being saying, finally, someone is speaking the language of my soul. Ride this wave. Don't let it fizzle out. Turn it into action, channel it into writing down your goals, making that phone call, signing up for that course, joining that community. Let it compel you to do something physical that anchors the spiritual shift happening inside. Let me also remind you of the power of service. Sometimes the best way to break out of fear or self-centered thinking is to help someone else. When you serve, you tap into a universal principle of give and receive. You open a channel for blessings to flow not just to you, but through you. And as they flow through you, you're also enriched. It's a cycle of abundance that begins when you say, "I'm here to uplift, to contribute, to use my gifts for the greater good." That's how you transcend the limitations of individual effort and tap into something collective and vast. Another piece of advice: keep an eye out for mentors or role models who are already walking in a similar calling. Learn from their journey, see how they overcame obstacles. Don't try to reinvent the wheel if someone else's wisdom can accelerate your progress. But also remember that your path is uniquely yours. Emulate principles, not exact steps. Your calling has nuances that no one else can replicate, and that's by design. Now, if you're still listening, I commend you. It means your heart is hungry for this truth. It means you're serious about stepping into your calling, rather than letting it remain a distant, someday dream. You're preparing to rewrite the narrative of your life, shifting from "I wonder if I could" to "I'm doing it now." That's the pivot that changes everything. That's the moment transformation becomes inevitable. Yet, as you proceed, be patient with yourself. Growth takes time, and seeds don't become mighty oaks overnight. You might face setbacks that test your resolve, but each setback is an invitation to refine your approach and strengthen your commitment. Remember, diamond is coal that did well under pressure. Your character will be polished and your gifts sharpened through the challenges you face. Embrace them as part of the process. Also, don't be surprised if new passions or ideas surface that you didn't anticipate. Callings evolve. What starts as a small flame can become a bonfire that lights up multiple areas of your life. Be flexible enough to adapt. Trust that the same divine force that sparked your initial calling can also expand it in ways you never imagined. Sometimes the path curves in unexpected directions, but each curve leads you closer to the masterpiece your life is meant to be. Chosen one, let your soul breathe in these words. You are here for a reason. You are not a mistake, not an accident of biology or circumstance. There's a blueprint for your existence that aligns with your deepest joys and talents. By following that blueprint, you tap into a sense of fulfillment that no material success alone can grant. Though material success may come as a byproduct, the real treasure is the resonance with your authentic purpose. That's what keeps you alive in every sense of the word. If negativity tries to overshadow your mind, use tools like meditation, prayer, affirmations, whatever helps you recalibrate. Surround yourself with positivity, whether it's music, reading, or conversations. Be vigilant about what you allow into your mental space. If the mind is a garden, then your thoughts are seeds. Weed out the toxic ones, water the beneficial ones, and watch your internal landscape flourish, because the fruit of that garden is your external reality. I urge you to keep the momentum strong. Don't just let this message be a temporary spark. Let it be the catalyst for a lifelong flame. Seek accountability. Tell someone you trust about your decision to follow your calling. Let them check in on you, encourage you, and celebrate your wins. There's power in community, and if you can't find it in your immediate circle, look online, find like-minded individuals, create your own supportive network. Now, I could go on, but I think you get the essence. Don't ignore this calling. Your entire future depends on it. You don't want to arrive at the end of your life wondering, what if I had just tried? You want to know you poured every ounce of your gifts into the world, that you didn't hoard them out of fear or laziness. That's the legacy you can leave, a life fully lived, a calling fully answered, a heart fully surrendered to the greatness within you. You've made it this far, and that speaks volumes. You're not one to just click away and forget. You're someone who wants to be changed, someone who senses that they are set apart for extraordinary things. Trust that instinct. Let it guide you beyond this video, into daily decisions that align you with your divine mandate. And in those moments of doubt, come back and re-listen, re-orca, and remember why you started. Now is the appointed time. Now is the day of decision. The question is, will you heed the call or let it fade? I believe in you, chosen one. More importantly, the power that designed you believes in you. Let that power work through your willingness and watch as miracles unfold. Keep shining, keep believing, keep answering that inner voice. Because you, yes you, are destined for a future so magnificent, it can only come from the highest source. I want to push you a bit further to truly let this message sink in. Close your eyes for a moment. Unless you're driving or operating machinery, then keep them open, please. But if you can, visualize yourself stepping out with confidence, making bold moves and seeing the fruits of your courage manifest in real time. Picture faces lighting up because of what you've shared, what you've created, or how you've led. Hear the words of gratitude from those you've inspired. Feel the warmth of purpose in your chest, that undeniable sense that you are exactly where you should be, doing exactly what you were meant to do. That feeling is worth every sacrifice, every tear, every late night. It's worth it all. Yes, the calling is worth it. It's worth letting go of old comforts, worth embracing uncertainty, worth becoming a vessel for something greater than yourself. In that alignment, you'll find your best self, the version of you that is unstoppable, loving, fearless, and fully alive. That's the promise of heeding this call. It's not that life becomes perfect, but that you become more powerful than any adversity, grounded in a purpose that can't be shaken. Chosen one, let me urge you one last time. Comment 777 if you haven't. Let it seal your commitment. Then take real-world steps. Every day, do something, big or small, that honors your calling. Reflect, plan, implement, connect, learn, and grow. In a few weeks, a few months, a few years, you'll look back and realize that this was the turning point. The day you decided that enough was enough, that an extraordinary life was your birthright, and that you wouldn't settle for anything less. I can feel the energy shifting even as I speak. It's like the atmosphere around you is charged with new possibilities, new hope, new excitement. That's not a coincidence. It's your spirit responding to truth. Let this be the day you say yes. Let this be the day you refuse to ignore the call that's been echoing in your heart for so long. Because, chosen one, the world needs your voice, your passion, your ideas, your love. And you, yes, you, deserve to live the future that only manifests when you decide to answer it. So stand up, stand tall, step out and never look back. Your calling awaits, and your entire future depends on it.